It really is, actually.
That's what you do on Tuesday. Now, what do you do the rest of the week?
The rest of the week, I appear nightly in Forbidden Broadway, and you all know what that is.
Well, why don't you tell the
Forbidden
person
Broadway
that
is now in
came
its
from Alaska.
Forbidden Broadway is now in its 4th year, and it is the original musical comedy revue that spawned this whole resurgence of supper club entertainment, which had been dead, buried, and gone for almost 20 years. And we started doing Forbidden Broadway in fall of '81, so 4 years ago, and it's been running ever since.
Well, how'd you get connected with it?
I got connected with it through a superior performer and a great friend of mine whose name is Nora May Ling, and you're going to hear about her shortly because she's featured in Wind in the Willows and will soon be getting rave notices in that show on Broadway. And she was the original leading lady of Forbidden Broadway, and at the last minute they needed a pianist. So she gave me a call, and I thought, well, as a very big favor to you, Nora, I guess I'll come down and do the show. And it happened that Rex Reed was in the audience, and the rest is history.
Well, what do you do in the show?
I am the music director, and I play the piano for the show. It's just me at the piano, providing all the... I'm supposed to sound like an orchestra, which is my specialty. And I sing a little number. I impersonate Stephen Sondheim in the current show. And I train all of the new people who go into the show. And I've trained the Boston Company, the Washington Company, and the Los Angeles Company.
How do you train people?
Well, I've done it so many times now. It's almost an exact science. We find people who, and we've been very lucky to find people in all the cities who have a certain mimicry ability for mimicry, and even more important than mimicry is a natural talent. And it turns out that's what makes people seem like the stars, when they have this talent pouring out of them. And all we need to do is make a few cosmetic adjustments to the voice, to the wig, or whatever it is, and these people take on the quality of the stars. So, for instance, in Carol Channing, that's the first one we audition with, because if they can do that, they can do anything, basically. Have you ever imitated Carol Channing? Do you walk around the living room ever, you know, everyone, I know all of you do, so I won't teach you how to do Carol Channing, well, it's very easy for a man to imitate Carol Channing. She's got a very, very deep voice, but she's also got a very high tone. And then all you do is add a little accent and a lot of air, and you begin to sound like Carol. You want to give it a try?
Oh, I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, you're picking it up. Yeah,
well,
good shooting. Yeah.
That's marvelous.
Yeah.
Ah. Have any of the people in the show been upset or overly pleased, or how have they reacted?
Forbidden Broadway has gotten a lot of different reactions depending on the people. There are, for instance, a couple stars who are so afraid that they're going to be offended that they won't come see it. And I'm here to tell them, if they're listening, Cheetah, come on down. We love you. We're very kind to you. And if Cheetah saw this number we do on Cheetah, she'd use it in her act, I know. And Liza hasn't seen the show because she's nervous about what we say about her, but we also give her a nice time, too. So I hope they'll come by. But you all know it's famous that Lauren Bacall won't come to see it because she's afraid of what we say about her, which is silly because the whole show is based on our love for these stars. And let's see, who's come? Ethel Merman came early on in the run, and she loved it. When we started the Ethel Merman routine, she just put her head down on the table and was afraid to look up, and the whole house gave her a huge ovation. And Ann Miller's been there, and Carol Channing's been 100 times, and stars who are not in the show have come and complained that they're not in it. Like George Burns came, and we said, well, George, do a Broadway show, and we'll put you in Forbidden Broadway.
Well, if they really didn't like it, would that have any effect on the show?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. For instance, originally there were some problems with the music rights because we used other people's music. We used all the famous composers' music with the lyrics slightly altered. And what happened was all of the composers, Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice and all of the Alan J. Lerner and Sheldon Harnick, all of the Jerry Herman, all of them came to see the show right when we started and loved it. 6 months later, we got cease and desist letters from their publishers. And we simply called Jerry and Stephen Sondheim and all these people and say, would you remind your publishers that you've seen the show, you liked it, and then the publishers came themselves. It was just like can when they do the can for the judge, and he says, oh, no problem. That was exactly what happened. So.
Are there any differences in the regional companies?
Yeah, the regional companies, we have one in Boston, Washington, Chicago.
LA?
Chicago. LA was 2 years ago. It's not there anymore. But what we've done in the regional companies is we do sort of the best of Forbidden Broadway. We take the most famous numbers from our show and do them there. For instance, the New York show is very topical. It's up to date with the very latest. We're just putting in a Tango Argentino number and Singing in the Rain number and that sort of thing. But on the road, we do Ann Miller, Anthony Quinn. We do the stars that are very well known, so that even people in Boston and Washington will know exactly what we're talking about.
How do you get the rain in your new Singing in the Rain version?
Well, we haven't worked that out yet, but what I think we're going to do is, I think the actor is going to, our Singing in the Rain person is going to, we're simply going to put his suit in a pail of water and put it on, and he'll come on drenched. We won't actually have water on the stage, because we have other, we can't ruin the stage. But
thank goodness for polyester, huh?
you better believe it.
Does it make that much difference whether the audience has seen these shows as far as appreciating it?
No, the show has, the Forbidden Broadway works on a couple levels, so that there's the level of understanding. For people who have seen the shows, who read all these gossip items in the paper, they'll know every little reference. There's also another level of the show where most people react to it, and if they have ever heard of these people, they'll find it funny. So,
how often do you update the show?
Gerard Alessandrini, who's the author, director, creator, producer of the show, updates it every couple months or so. These days, every couple of years, when a new show hits Broadway, we update the show.
That says something about Broadway, doesn't it?
Well, how do you decide what you're going to add or drop?
Well, I don't personally decide.
Well, I mean,
that, but
I mean, how does he?
Mr. Alessandrini, we're basically all very current on what's happening on Broadway. So whatever interests him, he'll write a number about, and we'll all get together and
How many people are in the cast?
There are 5 people in the cast. I'm one, and then there are 4, 2 men, 2 women.
One happy family?
One happy
group?
family, yeah. Yeah, and if you saw the size of our dressing room, you'd realize how important it is that we remain one happy family.